Mexican Americans love education, so they go to night school and they take Spanish and get a B. Yeah, leave that in. Mexican Americans love their nanas and their nonos and their ninas and their ninos. Nanu, nanu, nina, no, no. Mexican Americans are named Chata and Chela and Chema and have a son-in-law named Jeff.
All right, thank you, Cheech. Thank you, Cheech. Living on the hyphen here. Paulie, Latino slant. Welcome back. What is all that about? Mexican and American. Mexican hyphen American in America has always been a duality craziness. I'm Paulie. This is the slant. Oh, God, we got an interesting one. What is going on with our educational system? Well, that's a lot. But those good kids, which are a majority of a lot of public school kids that get to that 12th grade, and you know what? They graduate. It's graduation day. They got their outfits on. They got their families in the audience. They got the fanfare. I mean, emotions run high. This is a big deal for a lot of families, including Mexican American families. It is everything: blood, sweat, tears, sacrifices upon sacrifices for these kids, right? Of, maybe first generation, second generation poverty, whatever it is, coming from nothing to make something. And then boom, we have an honor student kid, a kid that's made it, a kid that's going to graduate, and the future looks bright. In Colorado, this one graduate we're talking about, an 18-year-old student, could not wear a Mexican and American flag at the same time sash around her gown. In fact, it was a district judge that said she couldn't wear one. She took it out with the judge. I'm not making this up. Judge bans Mexican American flag from graduation ceremony. There's the student, there's the sash. Following the student's lawsuit, a federal judge ruled last week that a rural Colorado school district has the right to prevent a high school student from wearing a sash displaying both the Mexican and American flag during her graduation ceremony this weekend. My name is Paul. What we're going to do is we're going to finish this short story. I'm going to jump into a more local story from Colorado on this. It has more details. But during this whole time, I need you to comment now. Hit the comments, hit the likes now. And if you're not, subscribe now, because I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think. The judge explaining that wearing a sash as part of a graduation ceremony is considered a form of speech endorsed by the school rather than the student expressing their personal views. Freedom of school's speech, not the personal student's speech. Okay. The ruling further stated that the school district has the authority to regulate this form of speech according to its own preferences and the type of graduation events it wishes to organize. This decision comes after the student requested an interim restraining order that would have enabled the student to wear the sash for graduation. Attorneys for the student argued that the school district was violating her students' free speech rights and that it is inconsistent for the school's district to allow Native American attire while prohibiting her sash representing her Mexican and American heritage. The student expressed a strong connection to both cultures, describing herself as a 200%er, 200% full American and fully Mexican. Por mi madre, yo soy mexicano, por destino americano, yo soy de la raza de oro, yo soy Mexico americano. I mean, we've written songs about this, old school corridos. At a recent school board meeting, she voiced her concerns about the district's discrimination against different cultural heritage. In response, Holly Ortiz, representing the Garfield County School District 16, argued that allowing Native American regalia is a requirement in Colorado and is fundamentally different from wearing flags representing countries. Ortiz cautioned that permitting the graduate to wear the U.S. and Mexican flags as a sash could potentially open the door to displaying offensive material. from the Colorado sun, rocking the sun. Colorado teen defies district policy, collects diploma while wearing stole with symbols of US Mexico flags. Imagine that. The ganas, the guts on this lady. Her name is Noemi Peña Villasano. Asked a federal court, as we said, this is her with her family here. Villasano stood in front of the Grand Valley High School graduation assembly, steps away from her turn to receive a diploma. She looked pointedly at her family lined up the front row. Subtle signals from her brothers and her parents. Head nods, hand gestures. What's up? Gave the 18-year-old the okay, a permission that had failed to rest from she had failed to rest from school officials and a federal court judge. She strode to the podium when her name was called, fist bumping her school principals as a school counselor announced Villasano's personal graduation message, Viva la raza, long live the people. So this story goes on to say that other groups got behind her, other advocacy groups in Colorado to fight for her, to stand behind her. Attorneys for the district had argued in the court following, like we said, that wearing the stole would diminish the experiences of the class of 2023 and impinge upon the community's local control of the graduation ceremony. I mean, they had cops there. They had freaking cops there. Superintendent Ba had told Villasano that if she were allowed to wear the stole with symbols from the U.S. Mexico flags, other students might try to wear symbols, I can't believe this, like Confederate and Nazi flags. Comparing this, the American flag, the Mexican flag, to those flags. And this is an honor student. She graduated. She did it. She's on her way. There was some controversy. Other students were saying this is distracting from the graduation. Even she said that, Villasano admitted that it did, things had gone too far. I just had to focus on standing up for my rights for the past month instead of celebrating my upcoming graduation. Several Hispanic legislatures have vowed to introduce a bill in the 2024 session that would extend the right to display cultural symbols to ethnic groups beyond Native Americans. Native Americans in Colorado were recently granted the right to wear cultural symbols at graduation. That law was passed, and it was signed into law around the time Villasano's quest became widely known. I got one more for you. I was doing mad research on this, yo. Of course, I had to go to TikTok. TikTokers in Spanish and in English, talking about this situation. International Spanish news, hundreds and thousands of views, by the way, on these different TikTok. So what this is right here, and the reason why I did the screenshot of this. This is what the superintendent told this 18-year-old high school woman who's going to graduate. A Mexican-American woman, 18 years, have the whole future ahead of you, honor student, the whole thing, great family, y todo, right? This is what this superintendent told her. As an example, if I were graduating this year and I wanted to wear a Ukrainian flag pin, since I am a first-generation graduate and Ukrainian, then another student would be able to wear a Confederate flag because the student was from a southern state. To some people, the Confederate flag symbolizes much more than just the Confederacy at the time of the Civil War. If people get offended, we would not be able to tell that student that she could not wear that pen, because we cannot discriminate against that student, regardless of whether regardless of whether or not we agree or disagree with the symbolism. Wow. Okay. Big time ignorance on the superintendent, on this whole, these stupid legislatures and the school system there. In reading about this, looking at this stuff, it might seem trivial, but it's actually happened all over the country. Texas, North Carolina, Mexican-American students graduating with honors, they want to hang the Mexican flag with the American flag with them, or maybe just the Mexican flag, as a token of appreciation and respect to their families. In every case that I've seen, right? It's always paying respect to where they came from. Can you imagine that? A kid nowadays with actual like a worldview and a set of values and principles to pay their respects to their ancestors, to their elders. Isn't not this the type of person that we want in America? But this is what the American dream is all about. This is what living the dream is. And to get denied, right? Just the shock of it. You know, you're celebrating your graduation. Nope, you can't have your diploma. And then these guys had to go through all these legal bound, these hoops and all that shit just to get their diploma. Sometime after the fact that they just didn't hand that. There's video too of principals of people not giving them the diplomas because they have the flag around their neck or something like that. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. And when I say I think it's wrong to deny these graduates from high school going out into the world to express themselves however they want, as long as it is done in a respectful manner. Another point is that the legislature around the Native American regalia talked about its requirement of the state, right? I have a lot of feelings about the Mexican flag because there's such a deep connection to our native roots that is symbolized in that flag with the Aztec eagle and the snake in the Aztec eagle's mouth. It's very deep. It's very deep, and it goes back to our general root as an indigenous person from Mexico. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And to not connect that to someone's ancestry, that's just mad ignorance. Finally, the superintendent in talking down to this 18-year-old, just disgusting, man. Just disgusting. To compare it to the Yahtzee, to the Confederate flag, that blew my mind. And then the Ukrainian flag, that is just, that's what's in the world news today. Here's the big final point I want to make, guys. Mexicans, Chicanos, Mexican Americans have been part of this land for hundreds of years. We are not immigrants to this land. I know that is crazy to comprehend, but this type of ignorance feeds into that. It feeds into that, and it's highly disrespectful. It's highly disrespectful. So at the end of the day, let any of those kids that graduate whether it's with honors, that get graduated, let them walk however they want to walk, and let them, as long as it's done with respect, let them make it, they got to look good, man. You guys take care. Wherever you're at, keep your slam fuerte. Órale.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
I'm a Mexican.
Hey, pendejo, how you doing? Tran.
Hey, pendejo, how you doing?
Yeah, that's close enough.
What does that mean?
Oh, that means my real good friend.